In 1987, a carpenter in Oregon bought a Skilsaw worm drive for $160. He used it every single day for 31 years, cut through wet lumber, plywood, concrete forms, you name it. When he finally retired in 2018, that saw still worked. His grandson asked if he could have it. The old man said yes. 3 months later, the grandson bought a brand new cordless circular saw for $240. The battery died after 14 months. The replacement battery cost $120. And here's the part that should make you furious. The tool itself was fine, but the charger had a firmware update that bricked the whole system. The grandson called customer service. They told him the battery was no longer supported. Oh, he threw away a perfectly good saw because the computer inside the battery decided it was time to die. This is not an accident. This is a business model. Over the last 20 years, the power tool industry has undergone a complete transformation. And I don't mean innovation, I mean extraction. They figured out that selling you a tool once is a terrible way to make money. Selling you batteries, chargers, and replacement tools every 18 to 36 months is much, much better. So they did 3 things. First, they replaced forged steel transmissions with injection-molded plastic gears. Cheaper to manufacture, guaranteed to strip under load. Second, they moved everything to proprietary lithium battery platforms. You buy into an ecosystem. You're locked in. Your battery dies. You either buy their replacement or throw away every tool you own. Third, and this one is almost unbelievable, they added Bluetooth chips to the batteries themselves. The official reason is theft protection and inventory tracking. The real reason is they can push firmware updates that limit charge cycles, throttle performance, and eventually tell your battery to stop working entirely. It's a death clock, built into the tool you paid for. But here's the thing, not every manufacturer followed this playbook. A few companies, the ones that actually started in machine shops and foundries, kept making tools the old way. Corded, analog, built from magnesium, brass, and hardened steel. No plastic gears, no Bluetooth chips, no subscription ecosystem. These tools cost more upfront. But when you calculate the cost per year of ownership, they destroy the competition. I'm talking tools that last 20, 30, 40 years with nothing but basic maintenance. Today, I'm going to show you 5 of them. The no battery list. The tools that corporations don't want you to know still exist because they can't make recurring revenue from them. Let's start with the one that might be the most important, the Skilsaw S PT77WML-01. This is a worm drive circular saw. If you've never used a worm drive, the motor sits behind the blade instead of beside it. This does 2 things. It puts the weight directly over your cut line, which makes the saw easier to control. And it gives you a gear reduction that produces massive torque at lower RPM. The SPT77 uses a magnesium housing, not plastic, magnesium. It weighs about 13 pounds, which sounds heavy until you realize that cheaper saws weigh 9 pounds and feel like they're going to jump out of your hands the second they hit a knot. The motor is 15 amps. The blade spins at 5,300 RPM. But here's what matters. The worm gear assembly is machined steel, oil-bathed, and sealed. This isn't a motor held together with plastic clips. This is an actual drivetrain designed to survive decades of daily abuse. I talked to a framing contractor in Texas who bought one of these in 2004. He's cut through more than 2 million linear feet of lumber with it. Changed the blade probably 500 times. Changed the brushes twice. That's it. 20 years. Still runs like new. Try that with a cordless saw. You'd burn through 6 batteries and probably 2 complete tool bodies in the same time frame. The SPT77 retails for about $200. Over 20 years, that's $10 a year. The cordless equivalent costs you closer to $80 a year when you factor in battery replacements. That's an 800% markup for the privilege of being untethered from a cord. Tool number 2, the Makita GA7021. This is a 7-inch angle grinder. And before you say you don't need a grinder that big, let me explain something. The larger the wheel, the faster it cuts. The faster it cuts, the less heat builds up. The less heat, the longer your discs last and the cleaner your work looks. Most homeowners buy a 4-inch grinder because it's cheaper and lighter. Then they burn through a disc every 10 minutes and wonder why their cuts look like a beaver chewed through the metal. The GA7021 has a 15-amp motor. Hot 6,000 revolutions per minute. The body is cast aluminum, not plastic. The gear housing is metal. The spindle lock is metal. The adjustable side handle threads into a metal boss. But here's the real story. This grinder uses a labyrinth seal system that keeps dust and debris out of the motor. Most cheap grinders die because metal shavings get sucked into the windings and short out the motor. The Makita solves this problem at the engineering level, not by telling you to clean it every 5 minutes. I found a fabrication shop in Michigan that's been running the same GA7021 since 2009. They use it for cutting, grinding, and surface prep on structural steel. 14 years of daily abuse. They've replaced the brushes once and the power cord twice because someone ran over it with a forklift. The grinder itself is fine. Retail price is around $220. The cordless equivalent runs about $350 for the bare tool, plus another $200 for batteries. And those batteries need replacing every 3 to 5 years under heavy use. Tool number 3, the Bosch 1617 EVS-PK. This is a plunge router combo kit. It comes with a fixed base and a plunge base, so you can switch between them depending on the job. But that's not why it's on this list. It's on this list because of the motor. The 1617 uses a 12-amp motor with variable speed control and soft start. Variable speed matters because different bit sizes require different RPMs. Run a large panel raising bit too fast and you'll burn the wood. Run a small detail bit too slow and it'll chatter. Most cheap routers have 2 speed settings, on and off. The Bosch gives you full electronic control from 8,000 to 25,000 revolutions per minute. The housing is aluminum. The depth adjustment is precise to 1/64 of an inch. The COLED is self-releasing, which means bits don't get stuck when they heat up. But here's the detail that separates the Bosch from everything else in its price range. The motor bearings are sealed and rated for continuous duty. This isn't a homeowner tool designed for occasional use. This is a production tool that happens to be priced for the prosumer market. A furniture maker in North Carolina has been using the same 1617 for 17 years. He builds custom cabinetry. That router runs 4 to 6 hours a day, 5 days a week. Do the math. That's somewhere between 15,000 and 20,000 hours of operation. He's replaced the brushes 3 times. That's it. The kit retails for about $330. Over 17 years, that's less than $20 a year for a production-grade tool. The cordless equivalent doesn't even exist in this class because no battery can deliver sustained power at this level. Tool number 4, the Bosch 11255 VSR. This is a rotary hammer. If you're not familiar, a rotary hammer is what a hammer drill wants to be when it grows up. Hammer drills use a mechanical cam to create impact. Rotary hammers use a pneumatic piston. The difference in power is not subtle. It's like comparing a slingshot to a rifle. The 11255 VSR is a 1-inch SDS Plus model. It delivers 2.3 foot-pounds of impact energy. That doesn't sound like much until you put it against concrete and watch it chew through 6 inches of reinforced slab in about 8 seconds. The housing is polymer over a metal frame. The gear train is hardened steel. The pneumatic mechanism is sealed and lubricated for life. Most importantly, this tool has a clutch that protects you if the bit binds. Cheap rotary hammers will spin you around like a rag doll if they hit rebar. The Bosch stops the motor before that happens. An electrician in Chicago uses the 11255 VSR for running conduit through concrete parking structures. He bought it in 2011. Since then, he's drilled more than 3,000 holes through structural concrete. The tool shows wear, sure, but it still functions exactly like it did on day one. Retail price is around $230. The cordless equivalent runs over $400 for the bare tool. And here's the kicker. Cordless rotary hammers eat batteries for breakfast. You'll get maybe 40 to 50 holes per charge under ideal conditions. That electrician would burn through a battery a day. At $150 per battery and a 3-year lifespan, you're looking at $450 in batteries alone over the life of the corded tool. Final tool, number 5, the Milwaukee Hole Hog. This is not a drill, this is a statement. The Hole Hog is a right-angle drill designed for boring large holes through studs and joists. It uses a 7.5 amp motor connected to a gear system that produces 350 inch-pounds of torque. For comparison, most cordless drills top out around 700 inch-pounds, but only in short bursts. The Hole Hog delivers that torque continuously. The body is cast aluminum, the gears are hardened steel, the spindle is heat-treated, there are no plastic components in the drivetrain. But here's why it's legendary. The Hole Hog has a reputation for never quitting, ever. Plumbers and electricians who've been working since the 70s still use the same Hole Hog they bought when they started. These tools show up on job sites with 40 years of paint splatters and drywall dust caked on them, and they still work perfectly. I found one on a job site in Ohio. The serial number dated it to 1983, 41 years old. The motor had been rebuilt once, about 15 years ago. That's it. The Hole Hog retails for around $400. Expensive upfront. But divide that by 40 years, and you're looking at $10 annually for a tool that can bore through anything you put in front of it. There's a reason these 5 tools still exist. It's because the companies that make them understand something that the battery ecosystem manufacturers have forgotten. A tool is supposed to do work, not generate subscription revenue. Every time you buy a cordless tool, you're signing up for a payment plan you didn't agree to. Battery replacement, charger upgrades, platform obsolescence. Every time you buy one of these corded tools, you're paying once for something that works until you decide it's done working. The math is simple, the choice should be 2. If you're tired of replacing tools every 3 years, if you're sick of batteries that die faster than advertised, if you want to buy something once and use it for the rest of your life, these 5 tools are your answer. No plastic ears, no Bluetooth death clocks, no subscription ecosystems, just steel, magnesium, and enough torque to outlast you.